we discussed at length at a couple episodes now your original statement and then some reaction from Trina about the hose my wife down.
Are we still talking about this?
The only reason we are is I will say that this is my single favorite comment from anyone on anything that we have done.
Okay.
Is that we did a little short that was on TikTok.
Right.
And of course, TikTok is bigger with the younger folks, some of whom are your sons.
Yes. And
the comment was very succinct. It was brief, but it was on the one where we discuss hosing Trina. And it was just Nikki. And his comment was, what? Just the word. Just the word. What? I almost died. I loved the comment immediately. Okay. That made me laugh. So I'm looking at my phone, laying in bed. Kelly's out. She's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Look."
Oh God.
Yeah. So I thought,
just what?
This is the Gray Hair Daycare Podcast, with a combined age of 111 years and a combined IQ right in that same range. Your hosts, Frank Sirio and Carlo Russo. Okay, we are back. Here we are.
We're back, Frank.
You're back because you deserted me.
I did.
And went to Florida you were gone for two weeks?
Almost 2 weeks, yeah. I had to do some work out there, and I got out at the right time.
Yes, well, by which he means we were buried under mountains of snow for what seemed like forever.
The duration of my
I was just sending him pictures of, please, you left me, please come home. It was horrible. But But
I'm back.
We are back. So we're playing a little bit of catch up, but we are here as always. I am Frank Sirio. I'm 55 years old, and this episode, my wife is 36 weeks pregnant.
We are getting close.
It's a crazy, crazy situation.
Yeah.
Things just feel like it's moving really, really fast, which is good. It's very exciting. But so as usual, we have something new. I'm not sure if this is something I've ever had.
Okay.
From a produce standpoint for a size comparison.
Well, I'll let you know.
And I'm interested if you...
I've loved every produce product you gave me.
This week, little baby Josie is the size of a Swiss chard.
I don't think that's been said.
I don't know.
Trying to picture one?
I don't have any idea.
Picture's right here.
If you're out there, Phil, and you have cooked some Swiss chard recently, let us know what the hell it is.
So that's the size.
So it's the size of Swiss chard. She, right now, according to where we are, 36 weeks, looks like a newborn. Looks like a baby, but lungs and brain still developing. It sounds like everything else is largely there.
Just like mine.
Yes, that's exactly
Still
it.
developing.
Still developing.
I still got time, Frank.
That's
I can be a genius.
So that's where we are for the baby update. So this episode and next, what you're going to see is we normally have been trying to do it a week at a time, and there's about a couple weeks lag between when we record and when you guys see stuff.
Right.
But what we're going to do is we're going to cover week 36, and then next episode we'll probably catch up with week 37 and week 38.
Sure.
But we're trying to even it out because a lot has happened while you were gone. We have lots of updates.
Okay, can't wait.
So we're gonna get right into it though.
Okay.
Was there anything super exciting about your trip or any of that stuff?
Nothing really exciting except weather-wise. Obviously, it was a nice break.
It was nice weather.
The only time I called Trina was when it was raining.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. No, it was tough. It was tough to call back home while you guys were dealing with all that snow. I hated being away from the house. I left. My dad was in the hospital. My son just got the test back that he had the flu.
Oh, man.
And Trina was stuck with all this.
Right.
And then I left. So I was feeling kind of like...
And you left me.
And I left Frankie.
And he left me.
And I felt, kind of bad because I was home for the whole month of January.
Yep.
Nothing like this happened.
No.
Where I could have helped.
Yep.
And the minute I started working again, everything went to
complete crazy town.
Yes. So
it was something.
So that was it. And
it did make me feel better because I would be like on my back in snow trying to dig my Jeep out. And I would just, when I would be ready to give up, I would open my phone and there'd be a video of you and Frank Spadone walking down the street in Florida.
That's right.
He's in a tank top. I'm like, okay, at least Carlo's safe.
Yes, I was doing our daily vlogs, which I kept up with the whole time in Florida. Yeah, so I did that. So nothing major.
Everything went well. I'm piling on and making you feel worse. I shouldn't.
Everything went well.
You were working. You were there working.
Yeah, I was working, and everything went well. Yeah, so I'm back now, and I'm ready to get into baby talk.
Okay. Well, where we're going to start is our next installment of the Silver Fox Mailbox. So this time we just got a couple.
Okay.
So, and these were on some shorts that we put out there. There was a short, one of them that we talk about how I have a tendency when you come to record to send you home with various treats.
Yeah. The popcorn and the chocolates and
the Moose Munch.
Yep.
And one of our fans that we see commenting and liking stuff a lot, Gina Marie. Gina said Moose Munch is yummy, which
she is correct.
You are 100% correct.
Too yummy.
It is very, very yummy.
Yeah. Didn't Trina yell at you about giving us?
Yes, Trina did. She did say, please
stop it.
Please stop.
Yes.
So there is that. The other one that I thought was a little more funny was we discussed at length at a couple episodes now your original statement and then some reaction from Trina about the hose my wife down.
Are we still talking about this?
The only reason we are is I will say that this is my single favorite comment from anyone on anything that we have done.
Okay.
Is that we did a little short that was on TikTok.
Right.
And of course, TikTok is bigger with the younger folks, some of whom are your sons.
Yes. And
the comment was very succinct. It was brief, but it was on the one where we discuss hosing Trina. And it was just Nikki. And his comment was, what? Just the word. Just the word.
Are you
what? I almost died. I loved the comment immediately. Okay. That made me laugh. So I'm looking at my phone, laying in bed. Kelly's there. She's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Look."
Oh God.
Yeah. So I thought,
just what
that would be. This is the beauty of the internet. Imagine if when we were kids,
could you imagine
your father somehow there's video of him in the coffee shop talking about. Something with your
the coffee shop podcast. That would be great, actually.
That would have been. Yeah, you got to find a way to.
A lot of stuff that they could to be beeped out.
Yep, that's true.
Oh my God! So Nick, my son Nick, my youngest, I scarred him.
Scarred for life. Luckily, he's on his way. He's a young man.
He's 18 now. Yeah.
I have a feeling he'll survive. But I did when I saw that. Like,
that's funny. I did not know that. That's funny.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, so he's watching.
He is. He's
at least the reels.
At least he's watching the short. Yep, he's watching us on TikTok. Yep. Yeah, that's it. So,
that's funny.
So that is the Silver Fox mailbox. And now, since we have so much to get to and through, we'll go right into what just happened. So,
well, before I start, I know what just happened. Now you made me a lovely cup of coffee in your new coffee machine. Now. I said this jokingly a couple episodes ago. Frank's going to buy a new coffee machine, and sure enough, I was I in Florida when you shot something, or was I here? No, I was here.
It was right before you came back, maybe.
And sure enough, he sends me new cast member of the podcast or new equipment for the podcast.
New equipment,
and so we had a nice cup of coffee. So that just happened.
That's true. That did just happen. So I decided, look, it's all about the baby.
It is all about the baby.
Everyone keeps talking to me and laughing, saying you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be tired. Mm-hmm. Now, I am a coffee drinker, and I will make a pot in the morning. I get up early, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
I make a pot, 10 cups. And I will drink that.
Like a gentleman.
I will drink that. It's half calf. It's not full calf.
Absolutely, like a gentleman.
And I will drink that over the course of the morning. I'm usually wrapping up about 11.
Right.
So over the course of 5 hours, 10 cups.
Are you like me? Do you let the coffee get cold? Because I'm not just... It sits around, or do you drink it?
If it gets, I try to drink it when it's hot, but it doesn't stay hot.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So I'll hit it in the microwave to warm it up if it needs it. But I'm not going to make a pot if I'm not going to be on a regular schedule anymore.
Right.
I'm probably going to end up in caffeine withdrawal, and I really don't. I've had an espresso, one of the ones that uses the pods.
I remember that.
I'm not a big fan. So I found one of the ones that you put the beans in, and it does a cup at a time, grinds the beans fresh, does it does cappuccino. And
we're opening up a coffee shop. That's what you're trying to say.
It's fantastic. It's like you swipe through, you pick whatever drink you want, how intense, how big. You can do two at a time. Yeah. It's awesome. So I'm going to rely on that to keep me alive.
I think you're on the right track.
I think it was a good investment.
Yes.
So we did do that. But so anyway, so we started with going back now. I was trying to remember this morning. I'm like, okay, it feels like, because it seems like forever since you left. But really this week started with a checkup.
Okay.
And a fetal stress test.
Sure.
Or fetal non-stress test. Did we talk about? I think we talked about that already once.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So basically, we're getting these weekly now.
Right.
To make sure things are on track the right way. So again, we go in. Now we kind of know how this works. They put the 2 sensors on. A little bit easier time. Josie was not avoiding the sensors
Paparazzi.
As well as she had previously. And everything looked good. Heart rate variability is good. Everything's fine.
Nice.
So we did that. But we're kind of, it's week 36. All along, they've been telling us probably we'd be induced in week 39. So it's only 3 weeks away.
Okay.
And we're thinking, okay, when are we going to hear about this? And again, nothing. They're like, okay, we'll see you next week. So, okay, we'll see you next week. So then we kind of move into Kelly's going to work. She's been working there several years now. She has some of her coworkers that are very nice. And they, as a surprise, threw her a baby shower.
Oh, really?
Really? Yeah. So now this is
a third one.
Yeah. Right. So there was a few items, like straggler items, left on the registries, because we had the one in Buffalo. And we had the one here in town, and now this other. So they cleaned out the rest.
Wow.
Of the baby registry, and really some very generous, nice gifts.
That's awesome.
She's a kind of a more private person with work stuff. She keeps work at work, but I think she was really surprised by how nice it was. So that was really cool. But it was also around that time, that part of the week, she noticed that she started to see some little flashes of light in her vision.
Okay.
And she didn't really mention it, but I was around when she was talking to her sister about it.
Okay.
And her sister, of course, was like, well, did you mention anything to the doctor? And Kelly said, well, no. Well, you should call your doctor, talk to them about it. So she was at work and she called the doctor, and they said, well, have you noticed anything different with, is your blood pressure? Well, I'm not sure. So she went in, they took her blood pressure, and her blood pressure was a little bit high. So those two things, the combination of this visual phenomenon of the seeing flashes or little flecks,
floaters,
flecks. She describes it like a chandelier effect. I don't know what that means.
Oh, like when you see the
she's
glitter of the
maybe, yeah. So she sees that, and then her blood pressure's a little bit high, which it has not been. So the doctor's like, okay, we're going to do a bunch of blood work and see what's going on, because what they're worried about is what we talked about previously a little bit, the preeclampsia.
Yes.
Right, which is very dangerous. Got to be careful. So they did that, and now when she came home and we were kind of waiting for the results with the blood test or the blood work that they did, I think I know Kelly really well. I know when she's upset, I know when things are bothering her. And I knew when she was on her way to work that day, we were talking about work stuff, for her work stuff, and she was pretty worked up. She was a little upset. About work. Right. So I know that, and I was asking her how her day was going up until she had to go to the doctor. sounded pretty stressful, right? And she has a job that it can be very stressful.
Sure.
So I'm like, your blood pressure has been good all along. Every time we go in, it's good. It's been good. So, maybe you were stressed. Like maybe you're stressed out. I know I've had that happen to me more than once. I went one time, I go in for a physical. I sit down in the waiting room. I get a work text that was just
took you over the top.
Oh my. And I go in, highest blood pressure they've ever taken on me. And I told the nurse, I'm like, look, just take it in a little while again, because I know it's not.
Well, it's like when you're doing like the procedure, they know your blood pressure is going to be high. You're nervous and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stress could obviously do that.
So I'm hoping it's that.
Sure.
And luckily, we get the results. They don't call, so the blood work, whatever they were worried about finding, they didn't find.
Okay.
So felt like okay.
Relieved.
Relieved. We can kind of set that aside. But then, so this is around the time you desert me,
of course,
and I'm all by myself.
My wife, my kids,
your whole family. We're all just like, where did he go?
I was on the news, missing.
So this is Thursday. This is like the week of Valentine's Day we're talking about, right?
Yes.
So Valentine's Day is Friday. Thursday, we go to bed. The weather's fine.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong.
Yep. When I left, it was fine.
It's winter in Syracuse, right? So it's not great, but there's nothing to worry about.
There's no chaos happening.
We wake up and we get up early, Friday morning, 6 a.m. And I'm looking at the doors in our bedroom outside, and I can't see. Oh. And I look, and there's just snow on the window, like stuck to the window. And then I'm peering over that, and there's drifts of snow. And I'm like, what's going on? I go to the front, I look, and there's easily 3-4 feet of snow everywhere.
Wow.
And it's drifting in different places, windy, still snowing, still coming, and it's still dark out. So you really can't appreciate.
Yeah, you're not seeing the whole thing.
The first thing I'm seeing is, when you walk out our front door, we have 2 posts and 2 big coach lights. They're covered, right? So completely, how when the snow is so heavy, it just coats everything and it kind of grows. That's what it was like. So I'm like, okay, I know this
this could be a long day.
This is going to be a rough day.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, I go and I get, look, a couple of Christmases ago, one of my presents was a pair of heavily insulated Carhartt overalls. I put on my mudons, I put on my overalls, I put on my parka, and I go out there.
Yeah.
I can barely get to the Jeep, to the plow. I have a V plow on a Jeep Wrangler, not the heaviest plow, but we're far away from the road. We're like 600 feet from the road, got a big, long kind of quarter circle driveway. So it's a long ways. And I'm like, I'm just going to try to, cut a path. I put it in the V position because I've never, ever had a problem. We can get through any depth of snow. It's just because it just pushes it out of the way. You're not trying to push a lot of snow. It just moves it away. I get maybe a third of the way, and the snow is building up in front of my plow so deep that the Jeep can't move.
Yeah, you made yourself a wall.
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay. So I start backing up. And I'm just running up ahead of steam and hitting it. Trying to break through. Because the drifting, I'm thinking, okay, if I get through this, I could see the snow was a little lower.
Less, yeah.
But it's also so white and still snowing. And so
You're
kind
giving
of
me anxiety
smooth.
right now.
It was horrible.
You're killing me.
I couldn't even see. Now, I have put out stakes on either side of my driveway all the way to the road. 4 foot tall stakes with orange hazard stakes.
Yeah, whatever.
They're gone.
Covered.
You can't see them.
Right.
So I'm doing this. I'm backing up. I'm doing it. I'm not even sure where to aim if I get through it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk out a little ways to see. So I start walking. It's up to my waist.
Wow.
I can't do more than 6 steps, and I'm winded.
Wow.
Trying to push through this snow. It's heavy snow. So I'm like, okay, I turn around, go back. Long story short, I try to the point where my Jeep gets stuck. So now it's stuck. So
you can't even go back anymore.
I can't. I back because when I'm backing up, I can't see. The only way I can back up, can't look in the rear view of the backup camera. You can't see anything. I have to open the door and stick my head out and try to go back. And I get off a little bit, stuck. So now I'm laying on the. It's 23 degrees. I'm in a parka. I have to climb over the snow into my garage to get a shovel, and I'm on my back in the snow next to the Jeep, digging snow out from underneath the Jeep because it's kind of bottomed out. It's settled onto the snow. I get it unstuck, and I'm like, "There's no way I can do this."
Yeah, you're done.
And I think, okay, the only thing I could do is rely on the kindness of my neighbors.
Yes.
And we have some great neighbors across the street, Chris and Ashley. I message him. I'm like, hey, is there any way? He actually has an excavation business called Northern Atrex. If you need any work like that done, call Chris at Northern Atrex.
I think he took my car out when I got stuck at
one of your parties. He's a great neighbor.
Very nice.
They're sweet people. So I call him. I'm like, hey, can you cut a path for me with your plow? And then I'm thinking, then I'll be able to push the rest of it out, right? So he comes over with he has a full, a 3/4 ton diesel full-size pickup with a plow.
You ain't scaring him.
He's plowing, and it's coming up over the plow onto the hood of his truck. There's so much snow. But he gets through, and I now have a path. And I'm like, okay. So then I get out there with the little Wrangler, and I'm trying to widen it out and do whatever. But I'm basically just stemming the tide because it's still snowing more and more. So I'm just basically keeping his path that he cut for me, which is a plow blade width.
Sure.
I can't make it any wider. The banks are so high that when my little plow tries to push snow up, it hits and goes back.
Yeah.
So but at least by this time, I can get out. We're not trapped. So it comes down to, this is Valentine's Day, and we had made reservations. It's kind of our last Valentine's Day without kiddos. So we as a couple. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to miss that. So we were able to. We didn't take the other cars. I went in the Jeep. We went and had dinner, and we had a really nice dinner. We went to Texas de Brazil. It was nice. And that was good with Kelly's current dietary restrictions. Lots of protein. Didn't have to worry about carbs and stuff. Yeah. But the thing that killed me was, now this is the weekend of, it's like Valentine's Day, weekend, President's Day.
Right.
So long weekend. I'm thinking I'm going to get a bunch of stuff done. No, because the snow would not stop. Yeah. I was plowing 4 and 5 times a day just to keep a way to get to the road, right? Like just to keep it clear enough.
Yeah, you're just
to get out.
Yeah, you're maintaining whatever you had.
And the whole time, never even approaching 30 degrees, high winds. So Saturday, plowing 4 or 5 times, keep it just enough. We go to church, we come home. Sunday, same thing, all day long, plow 4 or 5 times. And either Saturday or Sunday, then it warmed up just enough for it to be freezing rain and ice.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
So now there's feet of snow covered with a hard, crusty shell of ice. But I'm still just stemming the tide. The whole time, I am feeling like, and this is how it relates to a child and pregnancy. The whole time, I am in what I could only describe as a low-grade panic attack.
Yes.
Because all I can think about is, my wife is 36 weeks pregnant.
Anything can happen.
She could go into labor at any moment, and I can't get her to the hospital, let alone, I can't even get her to the road.
Right.
If this gets closed up.
Yeah.
So Sunday, it's still coming down. It just still coming down, won't stop. There's so much snow. The deck in back is just a drift. The dogs won't go, literally. And my dogs usually like the snow and cold. Rumple goes out the door, just gets just outside the door, does her business, and comes back in. Yeah. Watson, same thing. They don't want to they
want nothing to do with it.
Want nothing to do with it. So now I'm worried because it's coming down hard into the nighttime. And I'm going to sleep.
Sure.
So I go out at 10:30 at night and I plow. On Sunday night, 10:30, I get it as clear as I can get it.
Whatever happens.
I'm up. I get up at 5:30. I go outside, and there's another foot and a half, and again, I can't get through it. I'm and I'm like now this is a day that it's a Monday, and we typically have our appointments for the OBGYN. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of where we are. 5:30 in the morning. We got an appointment at 8:30, and I can't get to the road, and I have to come back in after trying for 2 hours. I have to come back in and tell Kelly.
So now it's like 7:30?
It's like 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. So it's probably out there for an hour and a half. 7 o'clock. I'm like, look, I don't think we can make it to the doctor's appointment. Why don't you call and see if you can reschedule to the afternoon? And I'm going to call Chris and see. Because Chris was like, obviously people with equipment like he has, all weekend long, he was out doing stuff.
Yeah, everybody's calling them.
And he's doing stuff for businesses. One of the things he posted was he was up in Brewerton and he had cleared a parking lot for somebody using his skid steer, which for people who don't know, like a skid steer is like a small bulldozer. It's like an 8-foot blade, an 8-foot bucket. So he could scoop the snow up and put it wherever he needed it to be. So I'm
Make
like,
a mountain of it.
Is there any way you could come over and just clear my drive, clear the whole thing for me? I don't care what it costs. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. I told him Kelly was able to reschedule to later to 1 o'clock. Yeah. Right. But he's got things going on. I'm like, yeah, we got a doctor's appointment and we really want to make it. But
everybody wants to help a pregnant woman, right? And I mean, that's very dangerous to not have a way out.
Now, first of all, he tried to charge me probably less than what he spent on fuel.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I was like, no, I'm not going to.
Yeah, you're the wrong person.
I'm not going to pay you that. But don't worry about it. And he comes over. Now, this is a huge piece of equipment.
Yeah.
It took him about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
Wow.
To clear. It's just so much snow. But he widened it out. So,
he did the real deal.
So yeah, that was it. But it was just.
That's chaos.
It is most.
Chaos.
It was the most horrible feeling. I told Kelly, because Kelly is one of those people that loves. She grew up in Buffalo on the top of a hill, right?
This is nothing,
tons of snow all the time, and she just loves to look at it. And I told her, I'm like, you can't say the snow is pretty for at least a year. No. It was just an absolute nightmare.
It's totally different in your case because you have a pregnant wife at home. If you woke up and it was a year ago where nobody was pregnant and
you're just like what do we got in the freezer?
Right.
Let's cook something. Yeah. We didn't lose power. A lot of people lost power. Thousands of people had no power in the area. We were lucky. We didn't lose power. Yeah. We're warm and safe inside. If we didn't have to go anywhere,
you'd be fine.
We'd be fine.
And the crazy thing was, correct me if I'm wrong, I wasn't here. I was on the beach. No.
That's not right. There you go.
What I heard was everybody got snow, but some places got nailed while other places just got snow.
Yeah, and it was very different. Right? Like the day the first day he cut through and just cut that Friday on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
His wife, Chris's wife, Ashley, works in the city. She was in the city and there was nothing.
Exactly. That's what I heard. Right?
And it was different. We had to go over the weekend. My sister and her husband were traveling. They were also away. They missed all the weather. They had gone to London and then Paris. And so we had to go water her plants. And there was snow there, but not like here. And that's just up the road, like literally.
My brother in Cicero.
10 minutes
I know
away.
This is very detailed information here, but my brother in Cicero, not too far from Liverpool, just nailed. And everybody else was like, oh, okay, we got some snow.
It was very localized.
Well, thank God you have the neighbor.
Yeah, without a doubt. Chris and Ashley are awesome. They're a beautiful little family. They have a boy and 2 little girls, and absolutely prime age for babysitting in the future. By the time we need, it's going to be perfect. But and I know Chris travels for work. He has his business and he has another job. He just started a new job. And I know he listens sometimes when he's driving, so hopefully.
Thumbs up, Chris.
Yes, absolutely. Huge thumbs up. Again, Northern A-Tracks.
Good things coming your way.
If you are in the Syracuse area and you need any of that stuff, I'm gonna sponsor him.
Look it up.
Look him up.
Give him some business.
So yeah, without that, I would have just felt like a complete failure as a man to be able to take care of my wife.
I mean, you have a good walkway, a driveway. You have a long.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's
one of my favorite things about this house is that I have a driveway that you can get up to 30 on.
you can get a ticket driving down here.
Yeah, you can get a speeding ticket on mine.
Ticket out here.
The GPS works on my driveway. Take a left at the garage.
It is funny.
We're a ways from the road.
When you're stuck like that, when you wake, especially when you wake up to that.
Yeah,
your whole day is dictated. You're done. I have to figure this out now.
Yep, you don't have any choice.
I'm starting now.
Yep,
and there's no cup of coffee,
and there's no break.
Right,
yep.
There's no like. Well, I'll do it. No, it's You start struggling. You start worrying. You start. Oh, yeah.
And what was cute about it was Kelly. She's like, let me come out and help. I'm like,
get out of here.
I'm like, stay inside, doing that. And we're talking about it, and I feel horrible that if we can't get to the road. And she's like, well, if we had to, we could just walk to the road. And I'm like, no. I couldn't walk to the road. Literally 6 steps, and I'd have to stop.
Over your waist. You're not walking. No. Yeah, there's no walking.
Yeah, it was
pregnant woman.
It was just, I literally, at one point, you were in Florida.
Everybody's gone.
My sister's in Paris. My brother's in London. I messaged my brother. I'm like, find me something under $800,000 with 2 acres.
I'm out
in Franklin. And he jokingly comes back with, that would be fine if you don't want a house on it.
Wow.
And of course, so I look, and it was true.
Wow.
I'm looking at where he lives.
Syracuse is okay.
Yeah, Syracuse is okay. That's one thing. That's one advantage that we have.
This is the most snow we had in 5 years, they said?
I think so. Honestly, in our lifetime, the blizzard of 93 was this. And that was a lot. This was worse. Wow. At least for my situation. Now, I remember back then.
I was stuck in Silo when that happened.
You were still in Silo?
With Mr. Hunt. I had to go to his house in
really?
Marcellus because I couldn't get home.
You couldn't get home?
My car got stuck actually in the road. I had to leave it.
I was working at Leechmere at Destiny.
Because I didn't go over to Leechmere yet.
And I was driving my Camaro. I remember that trip home in my Camaro, my crap brown Camaro. I made it home.
You did make it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun because with rear wheel drive, you basically didn't. It was like a rudder steering.
Oh, it was horrible.
You steer with the accelerator.
Absolutely.
And I was blown by Jeeps. Like it didn't matter.
That's fun.
And I got home and I just stayed home for 3 days.
Yep. We were stuck in his house.
And that was a lot of snow because I remember we were on the 3rd floor of an apartment building in a complex.
You could just jump right off.
That's what we did. We would jump off the deck.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, and land in the snow. You were fine.
Yeah,
because there was like 5 feet of snow.
Oh, that is hilarious.
But there wasn't any. This time there was no jumping.
No,
there was laying in the ground, looking at the sky, saying, "Please make it stop."
I mean, I never ever get that lucky. And again, I feel horrible because my whole family is sick, and my wife was alone, and this, that, and the other, and I'm like. Not that I planned it.
No.
But I would have been the same way. I mean, we would have had to.
This was absolutely the worst winter weather I've experienced in my lifetime. It was crazy. Every time I looked out, it just wouldn't stop. It just kept coming. So that was it. So we basically the rest of that week. Was just
maintaining,
survival.
Yeah.
That was the other thing that kind of sucked was if you were a kid, that was one of the things. My wife always trying to find the bright side.
Oh God,
because she's like, if you're a kid, this is absolutely magical, right? You out there, you're building forts, you're digging tunnels. It would be perfect for that,
right?
And I agree. But the thing that was sad was the kids were already on vacation. That week. So they didn't even get snow days out of the deal.
Right.
They were just trapped in the house, which for kids today, that probably isn't as big a thing.
It wasn't probably bad. It's probably not bad for kids in I don't know, 6th grade and stuff. Yeah. But I have a teenager at home.
Yeah.
And he has a car.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to build a fort.
But with him, he had the flu, and his girlfriend was in Spain for the school trip.
Isn't that crazy?
So
everybody was gone. It was something.
And I get home, it's 41.
Oh yeah. It
was amazing. It was sunny a couple days ago.
I was talking to my sister when they were still. It was still hadn't stopped.
Right.
She came home kind of like the middle of that next week, and I was like, "Stay in Paris another day." They ended up making it home. Their flight into, I think they flew into DC and then DC here. Their flight in was delayed. And then the flight back was delayed, but they made it home on the same day, a couple hours late. This is, I think, entertaining. My intrepid brother-in-law, traveler, he worked in a job where he traveled all over Europe. He's retired now. They travel all the time. My sister's been to Paris more times than I've been to Utica, right? Like, I've been a bunch of times. They got hung up in customs. Why do you think they got hung up in customs when they came back?
They had something on them.
They had something. They had
something. Fruit.
Well, this is what kills me. Is that's the first thing you think of is what's the first thing you get hung up on with? What do they tell you? No fruit. No cocaine. Right. Nope. He was trying to smuggle a couple bananas into the country.
Not everybody knows.
So they had to go to talk to the agriculture people to get.
I wanted bananas. Go to Wegmans.
Have you ever had a French banana?
No, but. I will go to jail for it.
I was amused.
I will be deported.
That held him up a little bit.
That's funny. I can just see him. Just have these bananas and grapes.
They're asking him like the beagle is sniffing the bag. What's in the bag?
We're gonna make a banana split when we get home with these French bananas. That's funny.
That was fun.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but that is week 36.
And that's what happened.
That is what happened.
That's what happened.
That is what happened. So we will hopefully we'll catch up again next episode. We'll go through and bring you guys closer up to date with us.
We're gonna catch up.
We're gonna catch up. We kind of started in episode 1 and 2 where we were covering those first few weeks, and now as we approach episode 20, with this one's 19, as we approach episode 20, we might catch up a little bit too.
We made it. We're hopefully going to make it to 20.
That would be nice.
We said 10. Remember 10 was our number? We're going to have 10 episodes. We're going to do it. Now we doubled that, or hopefully we'll double it. And who knows? Who knows now? Maybe in a couple of months we'll get to 21.
Maybe. That's where the rubber really meets the road at 21.
Yeah, that's right. We always knew something. The baby was going to be here. Right now, It's all fun and games. We're talking about it. Hey, how's that crib coming? Coffee maker.
It really is. Yeah, like I'm forcing you to test out ridiculous products. It is all fun and games.
Check this out in about 3 weeks.
It's about to really change.
I'm going to be like, it smells like puke. Did you change yet?
Is there sour milk in the studio? Yeah. It's going to be something.
Oh, well, that'll be fun.
It will be.
It's fun for people to watch, too.
Yes.
Don't forget, if you're listening right now, you want to see this chaos?
Yes.
Oh, go to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, comment. Oh, you'll love it. Hit that bell for alerts when we're...
for alerts every Tuesday at 7 a.m. when the new episode comes out. Absolutely. YouTube, it seems like it goes back and forth. Yeah. Some weeks the video does better. Some weeks the audio does better. But absolutely.
Well, we have the reels and shorts.
Yes. However you listen, we're thankful that you do. Appreciate it. But yeah, like and subscribe and do all that cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay. We will see you next time. Well, folks, that's another episode of the Gray Hair and Daycare Podcast in the books. Thanks very much for tuning in and spending this time with us. We hope it was fun. If you enjoyed this week's descent into the madness of dadness, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of our future adventures. And while you're at it, give us a like and share the cast with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Carrier Pigeon, whatever you crazy kids are using. Have any hilarious parenting stories of your own? Questions about navigating fatherhood later in life, or even when normal people do it? Email us at ghdc.podcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to bed.